Come top heavy and the rain crashes down into that updraft. It ends the storm and the air hits the ground and spreads out, and you can actually see that spreading. Look at this right in there and then here. That is the outflow boundary that is spreading out from that collapsing storm, and oftentimes that can be the source of new development. In fact, we're seeing that right now very much at all. So torrentially heavy rain sitting in a lot of the same areas over a long period of time. Also warning here into Johnston, Newton, Pope, relatively rural areas of those counties, and then you see the very heavy rain that's dropping southward here. Flash flood warning right around Stuttgart, and again, you have just a tremendous amount of rain because the movement of these storms is so slow, in some cases 5 miles per hour or nearly stationary. Flash flood warning Arkansas, Monroe, and Prairie counties, and that is going until 7 p.m. So looking forward through the rest of tonight, we're going to watch this low pressure come across Nebraska, and we expect to see new development of storms. Maybe there in parts of Iowa and southeast Nebraska and also into Missouri. Certainly could be some severe weather along with those. And then all of that is going to congeal into a big complex of storms with really heavy rain. That may go all night long and right into tomorrow morning. A lot of lightning and maybe some damaging wind along with that. Now to Alabama we go. Got a warning here fairly far south of Birmingham. That's a big line segment that's developing. Bibb, Chilton, Perry counties. The cell sliding south into 82. Watch out for some damaging wind along with that. And then more storms now into central and southern Georgia. New warning right along 16 in Macon. That's coming into Macon as we speak. Bibb, Jones, Twiggs counties under warning. And then to the south of that big line of storms, whole series of warnings with these, including Berrien, Tift, and Worth counties as that drives to the south. Dave, over to you.
And some rain in Florida, but before we get to that, look at this. This is what a storm did. Smoke poured from the roof of a home in northern Alabama, and storms are the reason why. Fierce winds sent trees and power lines falling like pickup sticks. More than homes were at risk from those winds. Tragically, a man died in Alabama yesterday when a tree fell directly on him. Very sad story. That's why it's so dangerous to be outside when there are thunderstorms around. I mean, even if you're in your car, you think you're in your car, your SUV, nothing's going to hurt me. Boom. So the safest place is in your home, in the lowest floor. So a tree can come through the second floor, piece of cake. First floor, less of a chance, and if you're in the basement, well, that's the safest place to be. So we've got the thunderstorms, some severe that Carl Parker just told you and me about. And also we've got the rain here in Florida. There have been reports of some tree damage down here. Take a look at this. Thunderstorms in Florida earlier today collapsed. The cool air went down to the ground, spread out, and collided with this. These storms have actually gotten stronger. Notice the color, boom, in the last hour, because this, we'll call it a mini cold front, approached from the south. Well, it's South Georgia, North Florida, southern Alabama, and then right up that front all the way into Iowa and Kansas. That's where the action is now. That's where it's going to be tomorrow, too. Thunderstorms tonight will generally go away because the sun goes down, the heating of the earth leaves us, and the bubbling is much less. No thunderstorms tonight after midnight. Alex, back to you.
Dave, I want to tell you about a tornado warning in effect right now. It's an area that's very, very sparsely populated. This is in the state of Idaho. We are talking Fremont, Jefferson, and Madison counties, including the city of Rexburg and its path of the town of Rexburg. This warning goes until 4:45 Mountain Time.
From 22 to 74.
At least 2 people died when high water struck, and the governor has declared a state of emergency in the area.
Now, those are just the statistics, but there's a lot more there, too.
Right, we want to share some of the stories from the front lines of the flooding.
City employees, everybody pitching in and help, but we just keep losing the battle. When you have 4 and 5 inches of rain at a time coming, and then it has nowhere to go, and then suddenly we get more and more on top.
Heavy rain turned a 5-block area of downtown Portland, Indiana, into a swamp on Monday. Water stood 2 feet high in some spots.
Well, the city had to use 4-wheel drive vehicles to bring members of the police department to work. And residents have filled bags with 56 tons of sand just to try to keep floodwaters away from their businesses and homes. Just one story from the flood front this week. And there are many more, especially in eastern Kentucky. They got hit hard.
Right. The Weather Channel's Anaridis Rodriguez has more on the tragic situation there.
I'm Ana Rodriguez in Johnson County, Kentucky, where we have entered the second day of a massive search for at least 2 missing people. Authorities say 2 men last seen being swept away by floodwaters. This particular area of Johnson County, Kentucky, getting slammed by heavy rain Monday night. 5 inches, triggering flash floods and killing 2 people. A man who was 56 years old and came across a flooded road, and a woman in her 70s. We know that this is still considered a search and recovery operation. They're working to remove debris. We have a team of volunteers, 150 people, assisting the National Guard and county officials in trying to find not only the missing people, but help those who have lost everything, try to get a sense of normalcy back into their lives. Take a listen to what one county official had to say. He came across a stranded pet up at Flat Gap.
We were just driving through the devastation, and one of the reporters seen the dog on top of debris. So we got outside the vehicle. The dog was howling, crying. We got her over to her and got her.
We still have tens of thousands of people without power. In fact, at last count, more than 25,000 across eastern Kentucky. Johnson County High School has been a staging area for the American Red Cross. They're asking people to bring any type of donations that they can, from bottled water to baby food and even some cleaning supplies. You can find all of that information on our Facebook page or our Twitter pages, but that's the latest from Johnson County, Kentucky. I'm Ana Rodriguez. Back to you.
Storms possible as we go through the rest of the week. We've got those storms firing up and over that ridge of high pressure that has kept things so hot into parts of the south central U.S. Notice the jet stream riding up and over that. So that's where the storms have been firing, and also the path along which they've been moving underneath that ridge, though. Man, it has been hot with heat index values in the 90s and triple digits. Tomorrow, scattered thunderstorms across the upper Midwest. The best chance of severe for the areas in red, and this is tomorrow night. Many of the same areas will keep scattered showers and thunderstorms in the cards. Hail, damaging winds, and of course the threat for very heavy rainfall. By Friday, it's parts of the Great Lakes region that will see the threat for scattered rain showers and thunderstorms. And again, when we talk about hail and damaging winds and heavy rain tomorrow, the areas to watch include Madison, Wisconsin, and Des Moines and Davenport, Iowa. Also getting into parts of Illinois off to the north and west of Chicago, even down close to the Kansas City metro.
And earlier today, New Jersey took it on the chin. We had storms and flash flooding, but you know there's one city that's celebrating today on the weather front. The last sign of brutal snow-filled winter is gone. In Boston, we'll have more next.
You're familiar with Boston? 2 times the height of the Green Monster at Fenway Park. The mayor of Boston just announced yesterday that the pile of snow finally melted, leaving behind a pile of rubble. How much rubble? About 400 tons of garbage. The commissioner of the Public Works for Boston says in his 18 years here in Boston, he's never seen so much snow take so long to melt.
You can really pile snow very high, and that there are uses for bulldozers during the winter season. I never thought we'd use a bulldozer. We couldn't get enough bulldozers. So that's... We learned a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff, things I'm probably more going to try to forget than remember in the winter of 15. But I have a great team as well, great team around me.
There was so much snow here in Boston, at one point they didn't know where to put it. The state DEP gave the okay for Boston to dump it in the harbor. Boston said not a chance. And this is why. What was left behind? You got a hubcap, somebody's book, clothing, bottles, a crate, strollers. This is now not in the harbor. That's a good thing. Now, the Commissioner of Public Works is saying they're now looking forward to the next winter, which is only 25 weeks away. Back to you.
You hear that?
25 weeks away. I don't even want to think about it.
No.
You know, the next 2 weeks look great. Tomorrow will be cool, but very pleasant. And then we're up near 80. Actually, I did the math, and I got the exact average for the 14th. Guess what it is?
80.
81, even. And our average is 82. There you have it, my friend.
That sounds pretty good.
So snow is the last thing from my mind. I didn't even want to think about it. I don't want to see any graphics about it.
Well, good,
nothing.
I have some for you.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Hey, 1 inch or more snowfall for Boston. The good news is the average for that first day, December 10th. Now, the earliest it's happened.
We have time.
Yeah, we have time. Don't worry. And your average last snowfall would be sometime in mid-March. The latest they've seen an inch or more, late April. And we're just hoping it's nothing like last season. When you look at an average for a year and last year's total, mind-blowing.
I'm not listening to anything you're saying because
I know you're not.
I don't want to have anything to do with that.
You're hearing the teacher of Charlie Brown. Right. When we talk about average monthly temperatures, it is during the months of June and especially July where we finally get that heat going and even the last vestiges of that snow pile.
So there is hope.
Yeah.
There's like hope at the end of the tunnel.
I'm going to give you these graphics during the break, and you can just throw them on the floor like Reagan threw the trash.
As far as I'm concerned, they don't even exist.
Yeah, there you go. Winter is really the last thing on the minds of many right now.
I should hope so. Instead, we're keeping an eye out for this fierce lightning. Now, it's proven deadly again this week.
It's destructive, too. We are going to talk more about who is at greatest risk for lightning and also some ways to keep you and your family safe when lightning's in your area.